Hello and welcome to another episode of, I guess it's still ZED Talks, it's still League related. Either way, it's some of our Patreon content. This week, Nick, Colton, and I are going to be going through a bunch of the old removed items, probably before you youngins' times, and talking about how they would do in League of Legends if they were implemented now, and kind of reminiscing about our good old boomer days. How are you guys doing?
Pretty well. I'm excited to see how everything holds up. I think my memory of a lot of items is a little skewed. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it's great.
Looking at these items, I'm remembering most of them and feeling probably better than I should.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Oh, for sure. So let's hop right into it. So our first item is Abyssal Scepter. So Abyssal Scepter was an item that was it's not too long gone, I guess. Its stats were pretty well. It's a magic item. It gives health, magic resist, cooldown reduction, and its effect was it made enemy characters take increased magic damage. And its original effect before that was it gave like AOE magic resist reduction. So,
Which is that still in the game with Abyssal Mask, or is that something?
Abyssal Mask does something,
It's
but
different now.
So like
it's something MR reduction related.
Yeah. the main thing is like the most recent version of Abyssal Scepter was it just gave kind of like AOE increased magic damage. So
Okay, I see.
I think if it still had the stats that it had, it would be, because it was like 70 AP, 45 MR.
Well, its final iteration was only magic resistant stuff. So it was like mostly like a tank. It was like the Amumu item is like the reality.
Okay, so this was
true.
the later version, not the one that was like must buy on all mid laners.
Yeah. No, so this was like the tank kind of magic resist. Because the initial version was 70 AP, 70 magic resist, which is very confusing because the last version was 300 health, 65 magic resist. So it was just like a tank item.
As a tank item, crazy. I don't think it would be great. Like, people don't really go whatever the version of it is now pretty much ever.
Yeah.
I think it would only be good because it would offer another MR choice, which obviously is always welcome. But otherwise, I don't think it was anything like crazy special by itself.
Yeah, it's like a C tier item at best, I think. I think like the old AP variant is still really good because it turns out 70 AP, 70 magic resist, just like you're a mage who gets to build counter mage items, but that is a reason why that's not in the game.
I guess that's the exception.
Yeah, but I think this is like at best like a C tier item. It's like not great by any means. Next we have one of my favorite items they've ever been put in the game was Adaptive Helm. So this is a pretty recent item. I think most of our listeners probably have heard of this. The whole idea was it's a tank item, a tank magic resist item that when you take magic damage from a spell, you reduce all subsequent magic damage from that spell or effect by 20% for 4 seconds. So if you get hit by a Cassiopeia E, her next E's for the next 4 seconds are all like reduced damage.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I think the item is what is always strong. It was just another one of those things we've talked about it before, where a lot of the power is hidden in something that you can't really. It doesn't have an obvious effect. So I mean, I think it's always been strong, but yeah, it would be strong now.
Yeah, I mean, it was like I think always situationally very good. Like, there's going to be some games where it's obscenely good and some where it's pretty useless. I do think, though, that even, like, when it was a good item, it was never, like, a have-to-have, even though it was very strong. I'd say probably, like, B, if not maybe low A.
Yeah, I guess from like an item design standpoint, I think it's like an S tier designed item.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
For the game, the whole point is that it's a super niche item, and I love niche items. I wish there was like 100 more items in the game. They were all super niche, and you could, this game I should go this and whatever. But like an item like this just doesn't seem play because you only build it versus Singed, Cassiopeia, whatever, right? All these like kind of burn characters. But it's probably like a B tier item. Next, we have people love this item, Athene's Unholy Grail. I still don't fucking understand how this item works to this day.
Hey.
So the whole point of it was it's an AP cooldown reduction magic resist item. Lots of AP magic resist items on this list. And its effect is you gain 35% of pre-mitigated damage dealt to the champion as blood charges, and up to 100 to 250 healing or shielding. So you gain damage as blood charges. It saves up in this like fucking pool up to like 200 thing, and then when you heal or shield an ally, it uses that on top of your heal or shield, like as an extra heal.
So this is the more recent iteration of this item. Again, not the every mage must buy this item that it was prior.
Yeah.
You dealt damage. It gained a pool, and then when you use the shield or heal, it added some extra, and that was the whole thing.
Yeah, which I think from a design standpoint, like that actually feels really good. And it's like, right, if you want to play your enchanter support, like enable that playstyle by dealing more damage, because then you can heal more. Like I like that as a concept. I think in execution there were like 2 characters that could actually use this item effectively, especially because it was based on pre-mitigation damage rather than... I think it could have been better if they had it set to like you get X charges for auto attacks, X charges for hitting a spell, X charges for CCing.
It kind of became a weird niche item again, where like, it would be only like good on characters like Karma would be like a great example, where she does enough damage to like charge it up, and then also can like apply it, and then you'd see like weird things in like Oriana and stuff, where like she also can use it.
Nidalee was another user where you would land a spear and then you'd E somebody for 600.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a cool idea. I'm not sure.
I think the item was pretty good actually, just because of how easy it was to charge up. It just required you dealing some damage to someone, and pre-mitigation is actually pretty big. It's not reduced by armor and MR. But that being said, I don't think I would put most, I guess, support items very high, just because I think that's their role is to be low. So I'd say like pretty snugly in the B.
Yeah, I think B is fair. This one's a little crazy though. Fucking Atmas. Atmas is a item that I think a lot of people have heard probably tales of. The whole item is that it gives crit and armor. That's the 2 stats it gives, but its passive is you gain attack damage equal to 1.5% of your maximum health.
So I think this item is absolutely bonkers broken if Titanic keeps its passive, where you're double dipping into the attack damage for health aspect of it. But I think otherwise it wasn't ever really too OP. We always talk about Atmogs with Atmas and Warmogs. But I don't at the end of the day think it was actually that broken compared to some of the other things that we've seen before.
This is one of the items that I think if they add it back into the game today, it is a lot stronger, because there's just way more health on items in the game nowadays. So it like gets more effective. Yeah. Because I remember the stat breakpoint was every single character in the game broke even cold efficiency on this item at level 13.
Interesting. Okay.
So like I feel like that's probably even like a lower barrier nowadays.
I think the other thing that makes it difficult is it's in a weird spot where like not a lot of characters that want to build crit want to build a lot of health. That was always the biggest downside of it, is like, oh great, I like armor, perfect, I can turn my health into bonus AD, wonderful, some crit chance, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, like armor and AD is like fucking deadly combo. There's a reason why there's not a single item other than GA which gives armor and AD left in the game.
Death Stance now.
Oh, Death Stance, I guess. Look how fucking gross that is.
And Death Stance fucking broken.
Death Stance fucking broken.
Yeah.
But I do think that like AD is really easy to get, especially like with Titanic Hydra, like Nick said, like if that exists. And then I do think that there are gonna be some characters that could really, really use it. I think like a tanky build with Gangplank is right, like one of the few that could actually go health and crit like this, and just. Well, I think
the crazy thing about this is like, I think the item plus the passive Like, I think the item plus the stats was already good, and the crit is just like a little bit of bonus on top.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's like, I don't think it having crit is like that bad. It's definitely not the most efficient use of stats, but I don't know. It could be pretty strong.
I think probably
the high health pools that we have.
Yeah, I'd say probably like A.
Yeah, I think A is fair.
Because again, there are just so many characters that can stack health so easily, and then like getting a big chunk of armor and AD at once is ridiculously good for 1v1's top.
Yeah. Next we have Banner of Command. Banner of Command is the cheese item.
S plus, Banner of Command S plus, no conversation. Put it to the top.
I think this is an item that actually I think scales with itself. So it used to be an item where you could empower your minions every like 2 minutes.
Every 2 minutes, it would make them take 40%
like
reduced damage and make them do 100% bonus damage to turrets.
And also make them completely magic immune.
Yeah.
Which was the best part of it.
That was the kicker, is that your wave clear character that you drafted, not anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. We've definitely mentioned this before, but we participated in an ARAM tournament, and all ended up building 5 Banner of Commands because they didn't have an AD character.
Yeah, we were like 5 melee tanks into like 5 mages, and we're like, well, we can't fight them, but our minions can.
Yeah, they just couldn't clear because they can't do magic damage, so they just have 5 mages auto attacking our minions.
But I think for the most part, I don't know. I would say B. I don't think it was that crazy, actually.
No, it's not good. It was a bad item. It was just like kind of gimmicky and could be used as like a strategy type item, I guess. But
the only thing that makes me want to bump it a little higher is the current Hullbreaker meta.
Yeah, how good that is.
Because it's
you
like,
can combine it.
Yeah, that's true.
If you can have a Hullbreaker Banner of Command minion,
Baron minion,
and especially depending on your opponent, right? It's like, Aiden, it takes you 13 auto attacks to kill the cannon minion now. Imagine when you can't deal magic damage to it.
Yeah.
That'd be so
I think
wild,
we'll put it let's put it low A because I think it's like cool for the game either way. I do think we have our first S item though. So Deathfire Grass is another item that people have heard legends of. It was an item that gave 120 AP, 10% cooldown reduction, and its active was you do 15% of the target's maximum health and magic damage, and you increase all subsequent magic damage taken by the target by 20% for 4 seconds. And it was a 90-second cooldown.
I'm actually going to submit this for our first S plus item and potentially only S plus item. Because this legitimately I think it was underused at the time because people didn't really number one, use active items very well, but really know what they were doing in terms of build. But this would be auto purchase on every single champion in the game, right? Every single mage champion in the game.
For the most part, I think there's a couple exceptions, but yeah.
I don't think there are really any. I mean, maybe you wouldn't on characters who are literally not in range to do it. But if you're in range
Zoe
to
or something with this item,
yeah, I don't know, maybe, but if you have a chance to cast it in a combo, you're buying it 100% of the time.
You are.
It just added and I think the crazy thing is the 15% damage, but it also built out of a needlessly large rod, if I'm remembering correctly. Yep. So it's not like you gave up a lot of damage for that active.
No, it gave a ton of AP, and this was also an item that enabled a lot of AP builds that shouldn't have been possible, right? Like Deathfire Grasp allowed AP Rengar to be a thing because you could just Deathfire WW.
Yeah,
I mean, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was there's a lot of characters that were able to have an AP build because it was so stupidly strong in their combo.
I remember Aiden, you enjoying Deathfire Lissandra for a really long time.
So sick, dude. You fucking Deathfire full combo, they're stunned forever. Oh,
yeah. There's literally no counterplay. You can't build MR to do less damage because it just gets absolutely railed by the active, and then you can't actually get away from Lissandra because she has 2 hard CCs that are impossible to miss.
And the fact that was good is just crazy because that's not a character that item is designed for in the slightest, I think. So
exactly, and I think that's the best example of if Lissandra's building it and it's her best item as a full damage mage, then imagine this with Ari. Imagine this with Victor. Imagine this with Vladimir. Any champion that does a lot of burst damage, like that's it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it would be obscenely good as it was. It would be toxic as hell though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next is Frozen Heart. Recently removed item. It just gave, so it was 700 health, so it was a shitload of health, 30 attack damage, and then it made your auto attack slow on hit. It was 40% for melees and 20% for ranged, and it refreshed with every auto. So I still think this item would be really good. There's definitely characters that just are broken with it. Like Gnar was probably the biggest abuser of this item in the game, I think.
Yeah.
That being said, like, the stats were kind of fucking wonky. Like 700 health is a weird stat line for like kind of like a bruiser item.
Yeah, I think it gave too much health for what it was, but I do think it would still be good today, especially like I really liked Frozen Heart as like a 5th, 6th item for 80 carries.
Frozen Mallet.
Yeah.
Frozen Mallet, yeah. Like right 5th, 6th item on like Kog'Maw or Jinx, where you're just like, I just need to not get bursted. And slowing them is nice, I guess.
Yeah.
I'd say probably like A.
I think A. It was a solid item. I think the biggest thing was the health that it offered without really crippling your damage like a ton.
Yeah.
So
Could also be
I'd
kind of nutty with Thimble Winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. I don't know if that would work. I don't know. If it works like that, it would be wild. Actually, 100% uptime for for the passive.
Yeah, cool. Next is Pharaoh Flare. The version I was looking at was the one without armor, because I think the armor one was just broken, like when it built out of Wriggles with like cloth armor and stuff. Just because like most junglers were 80 at the time. 80 armor, we already talked about it as a gross combo. This version was the version that gave 12 attack damage, 30% attack speed. But the crazy thing about it was when you had it fully like when you fully like bought the item, you could place a ward at 1000 range.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. And I think it did count against your. Oh no, there were no ward limits at that time, right?
No, there's no ward limits. Yeah.
Yeah, so it just like kind of increased the ability for your team to have vision on the map.
It's just like 1000 range is Ezreal Q range for context. Like, you could drop a ward from so far away. It was like, what a fucking weird mechanic in the game for no reason.
I actually am gonna rate this item a little bit lower than I think you guys are, just because I feel like the current jungle meta and what it has been for a while has really punished like hard farming junglers. And if I'm not mistaken, you had to take 30 camps before
30
before it would like transform. And I think like, I don't know, dedicating that much gold and an inventory slot to an item that doesn't come online until you've cleared 5 times. 6 times.
Also counted for
like
assists and kills, but like, it's still a long time for it to come online.
Also, jungle timers have gone up on base camps, so that was going to be like my biggest knock against it. I do think that there's still plenty of characters who would use it and could use it very effectively. And the amount of damage it could put out for how cheap it was wild.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you're able to get a full 6 item, 500 CS Shyvana, she's gonna 1v9 the game. It's just I don't know if the meta has been that for a long time.
No, it hasn't. I'd say it's probably like B.
Yeah, I would put that at B.
I think B's fair
as well.
Cool. Next, we have a couple of our gold items. I think we might as well do all 4 of them in a row. Let me just pull up Avarice up here. But back in the good old days, there was gold per 5 items. So you'd buy either Heart of Gold, Kage's Lucky Pick, Philo Stone, or Avarice Blade. I think the cheapest one was Kage's, and the most expensive one was Avarice, between like 700 and 800 gold for all 4 of them. And
eventually they leveled them all out to like 800 though.
Okay, I thought they were all 800. Yeah,
they might have
they leveled them out. There was a time when it was like 750 to 850, but they eventually leveled them all out, I think, to 800.
Yeah, and
there was also a time where they didn't have unique passives.
Yeah, right? I was gonna say, is Aiden said you buy one of these, and I say no, you buy multiple of each.
Yeah, just to give the people the gist of it. So Heart of Gold was a health version. Kage's Lucky Pick was an AP version. Philosto was a health mana and health regen version, and Avarice was a crit version. And all these items did was give you 5 gold per 10 seconds. And
I mean, they had slight stats by themselves, I think. Like, I think Heart of Gold had like 250 health, maybe.
It was 200 health, 25 AP, 7 health, 9 mana regen, and then 10 critical strike. So
so they gave you a tiny bit of stats. It was just like at the time the meta was so slow that it would be worth it to invest that much. And it's hard. It's really hard. There's I don't have any context for how much like 5 gold per 10 is at the moment, you know?
So like, here's the context for, this could have changed. Obviously, I'm not sure when they buffed or nerfed these items, but Heart of Gold, for example, paid for itself fully, like buying it and like the full gold value at 27 minutes, but it paid for itself if you sold it at 13 minutes.
13 minutes. Okay.
So anytime after 13 minutes, you're making money with this item. And it wasn't a bad item to sit on. Like, it was fun.
Yeah, no, it was good. I think, like, between these 4, I'd say probably Heart of Gold is going to be the highest.
Mm-hmm.
Where I'd probably honestly put it up to S.
Yeah.
To me, the biggest thing about Heart of Gold, and particularly at the time, was that, like, you could very easily get it on a tank jungler and get, like, 2 of them on a tank jungler. Mm-hmm. And have it really not slow you down at all.
Yeah.
You know, like I would play a lot of Shen jungle where I would just go like 2 of these, and then I would go into my like real items and eventually sell them off. I think Heart didn't like they built into other stuff though. Like they weren't even just.
I don't know if they ever did.
I don't think so.
I think at a certain they did at a certain point. I don't know at what version of it.
I think only some of them did. I think Avarice Blade I think did, and I think Philosopher's Stone maybe, but I don't think Heart of Gold and Kage's did.
I know Kage's didn't for sure, and I'm pretty sure Heart of Gold didn't.
Yeah,
I think you're right about the other ones.
Yeah, because Avarice Blade built into I think Atma's at one point.
Yeah, that actually
interesting.
I think you're right about that.
And then Philosopher's Stone was part of the Shirelia's recipe.
Mm-hmm. I think they were altered at the time. I think they were like less gold per 5 at that time, but
yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I think the other ones probably still would be pretty good.
I feel like Kage is bad. I feel like Kage is bad. And I feel like Avarice is good because I feel like there's characters that want early like cheesy crit. Like you could easily build this on like a Yoan or a Yasuo or something. Like
so I absolutely think Kage is the weakest. Just because flat AP is kind of worthless compared to some of the other stats.
Yeah.
Heart of Gold being S, I would say low S probably.
Yeah.
I think Philostone probably A, Avarice probably B, and then Kage probably C is what I would say. Although I think they're all S if you can stack them.
Yeah. What do you think of that golden? Like if you can't stack them, where would you like put them? I guess if we're gonna separate them.
I probably would move Avarice up to A and Kage's to B.
Yeah, I think that's also fair. We could just be
because I also just think like again, based on like as much as we've seen of people like abusing ways to get gold in the game, like there'd probably be quickly figured out mid laners who can run first strike and then just like get a Kage's as fast as possible. And just not interact with the game because they don't have to, but have it work really well. I don't know, but I wouldn't want that. That would fucking suck.
Yeah, I think so too. It would suck.
I think that's a decent place to put them. Next up are the 2 hex deck items that got removed. The first one being GLP, which was an AP item that gave mana, AP, and cooldown reduction, and it would shoot out a like a little 5 icicle bolt things, and it would like slow, and combined with the glacial, it would create these like big slow lines. I do think that as much as I would like to assume that if they added this item back into the game, they'd make it work with current glacial, we can't assume that because current glacial needs hard CC, and this is only a slow. But I don't know. It's a weird item.
Bad. To me,
it's fucking
awful
about that, right? Like if it could proc current glacial, it's probably pretty good though.
Yeah, if it works with current glacial, yes, it would be good, and that was why it was like actually pretty good in the first place. Is it offered another like pretty big damage like source that you just got for free.
The Vigard Glacial thing where you just fucking
the stats.
You'd be
the
throwing
stats
up
weren't.
cages this, cage this.
Yeah, exactly. The stats weren't really bad. Everfrost is definitely a better iteration of it.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what I was gonna say.
I would say B.
Everfrost is just the better version of it, and that's why if it was back, I don't think it would interact with Glacial because it's not hard CC.
Is it
Yeah.
F tier or is it only like C tier, you think?
It's probably C.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's still decent stat line. It's just
It has a place.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
it's not good. Next is Gunblade, which I think is the most requested back item in the game currently. It was an AP 80 item, give 80 AP, 40 AP, AD, and you click it on someone and it would do a bolt of magic damage, slow them, and did it also reveal them? Or no, I don't think it revealed them. But either way, and then it would its passive was you would heal her 15% of all damage dealt. So it was like a good like hybrid item. It was like the best hybrid item in the game, I guess.
I have always thought that this item was actually gigabusted on almost every champion that could make use of AP.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna lean towards like low S plus.
Yeah, I was thinking S plus. I could also see an argument for S, but I think it's probably S plus. But
I think it's S plus. I think that there's so many characters and like wonky builds if you wanted to do a wonky build that would just become stupid good. I also think with like some of the other changes they've made to the game to make like lifesteal work for on hits, like they're that plus having Omnivamp available to you on a hybrid build, like you can do some stupid shit.
yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, I like it. I like it at S plus.
Yeah. Cool. Next is another item that I think is going to be in contention for high tier. It's Innervating Locket, which is the item that, for those who don't know, there was a show match between Noxus and Ionia, where Guardsman Bob, a popular League streamer, played Udyr, and he solo won the game by building this item on Udyr. The item gave 30 AD, 10% cooldown reduction, 400 health, and 30 mana, so it's kind of a overall pretty like tanky hybrid item. And its passive was you restore mana equal to 15% damage of damage taken from characters, and you restore health equal to 20% mana spent up to 25 health per cast. And after using an ability, restore 8% of missing health, 3% of maximum mana over 3 seconds. So, pretty well, whenever you take damage, you get mana back, and whenever you use abilities, you get health back. So, on spam characters...
Yeah.
And you're healing your team and giving your team mana, not just yourself, right?
I don't remember. I feel like it was only for him, but I could be wrong.
I thought it was an aura. I think it's an aura.
I wish I could tell. There's no real way based off of this to like really.
That's okay.
But either way, this item was removed the patch that Sona was added for obvious reasons. But I think this item is still crazy. Like on any character that can spam abilities, this item is insane still.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I think it's really good. Obviously, it was removed for a reason, and it was removed from a character for a reason. There are a lot more characters with lower cooldowns than Sona.
Oh, yeah. It gave 20 health regen in an aura. That was its like effect.
20 health regen is insane.
Yeah.
Actually. Yeah, I think this is going to be an S item.
Yeah. That plus like Moonstone in existence together is just like Udyr has that and he's got a Moonstone Yuumi on top of him.
Yeah.
What do?
Yeah. It's a little gross for sure. Awesome. Cool. Next we have Leviathan. So everyone knows about Magi as the AP stacking item. So for those who don't know, back in the early days, there was a health version and an AD version. So there was like a trifecta of Magi's, Leviathan, and sort of the occult. So Leviathan was the health stacking item. It was a 1,000 gold item, gave 180 health, so really gold inefficient. But for every killer assist that you got, you'd get 32 health per stack, stacking up to 20 times for a maximum of 640 health. And when at 20 stacks, you'd get 15% damage reduction. That's the crazy part.
Yeah,
the health itself isn't good. You're literally paying
Yeah.
for health, and health regardless isn't that good of a stat. So even when it's gold efficient with the health, you're just getting health at a cheaper value. It's when you're at 20 stacks and getting 15% damage reduction, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty busted in at 20, but like it's kind of shit at 19.
Yeah.
And that's why, to me, I think that this is probably like a C tier item today. As much as I want it to be good, like, I think the only way this is good is if you modernize the numbers, and if it had a recipe like Darkseal does today, right? Like, if there was a version where you just bought, like, you know, the ruby crystal or whatever, and that could start getting you stacks and you could convert it, I think it'd be so good.
Yeah, because
but you
like,
can't.
The reality is if like a lot of the bruisers today, like Irelia's and stuff like that, if they get 20 stacks, they probably can't die anymore. But like transition, spending 1,000 gold and trying to stack up while getting ahead is like really hard, I think.
Especially 20 stacks. Like, that's so much. You know, you get the bonus from Medjai's at 15, and then you know, it caps at 25. So you still have that little wiggle room.
2 stacks for a kill and 1 for an assist, like just like Majia's, or just like old Majia's, I guess. But like still getting 10 kills is a little bit crazy.
It's a lot.
I do think Bolton's right. If there was like a mini Leviathan, then this item would probably just be like S tier, but it's probably like, honestly, like low B, high C.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to argue for it because I don't think it's actually that good.
I think it's probably C in its current stats.
Yeah.
I also just think that like this item kind of just does what chains do right now, right? And typically chains are more useful because you get more damage reduction against a specific target, which is kind of what you want.
At that point, you only be getting the health for like a cheap value is like
plus you get way more health out of it, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah.
Cool. Next is sort of the occult, which is the 80 stacking one. So it gave for 1,400 gold, you'd get 10 attack damage. Not a good trade-off, but you get 5 attack damage per stack. Starts with 5 stacks upon first purchase. Grants 2 stacks for 1 kill and 1 stack for an assist. Maximum of 20 stacks for a total of 100 attack damage. Half of the stacks are lost upon death. At 20 stacks, it grants 20% bonus attack speed.
I think this item is in C with Leviathan. So I don't think it's that good.
I think it's starting at 5 stacks already is kind of interesting though, because starting with 5 stacks, you get it's a 35 attack damage item for 1,400 gold, which is not very gold efficient. It is what, like 80% gold efficient. It's like it's not unplayable. But I could see an 80 carry winning lane, buying this item for 1,400 gold, and if you die, you immediately sell it. But if you don't die, you transition your lead so fucking hard.
Yeah, so it was attack speed. I thought you got movement speed from it at full stack.
It might have switched at some point, but the last version was attack.
It definitely. Yeah, I was gonna say it definitely was attack speed or movement speed at some point because you would build it on Pantheon.
Yeah,
you'd build it on the Pantheon and have like 500 movement speed.
So it's way better as movement speed, right?
Yes, yeah. If it's movement speed, I would bump this up a little bit. Probably still not a bunch, but
I think probably at its current iteration, I'd say probably B. I think that like 80 assassins are so good right now, and that like the tools available to them to keep stacks are really good between like blinking out of existence with Duskblade, Death Stance, GA, them just generally being slippery, and like the potential to absolutely take over a game as Talon or Blue Cane or Zed. Like, again, you're not making huge use of the attack speed, but like 1,400 gold for 110 AD is wild. Plus, just that much AD on a single slot is
yeah. I mean, it's 2 lethality items, right? Worth of AD.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'd say it's probably, to me, high B, low A.
Yeah, I think high B is like probably a safe place for it.
Yeah, again, if it still had the movement speed, I'd say it's probably high A. But
yeah, movement speed is such a gross stat.
If it was just movement speed and AD, again, like that's way more fucked on all of those characters.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Next, we have Madrid's Blood Razor. This was the Warwick item. It gave 40 attack damage, 40% attack speed, and 25 armor. Basic attacks deal 4% of the target's maximum health as bonus damage on hit, capped at 120 damage against monsters. So characters that obviously have on-hit effects like proc this really, really fast, and it does a lot of damage.
I think this is kind of like out modernized by Blade of the Ruin King now.
Yeah.
Where I don't think it's like I don't think it was bad. It's not Blade of the Ruin King, you know.
The item would have to be modernized a lot because also, like, once again, we're not really thinking that hard about it, but cost-wise, old League items were way more expensive. This item was 3,800 gold for Wave.
Yeah.
Like
3,800 gold is absolutely insane.
Yeah, the only thing I can have for it is like attack damage, attack speed, and armor together is wild.
Yeah.
Again, right, for
so,
3,800 gold, it's not worth it, but like imagine like Aurelia first item this.
Yeah.
It's done. You're fucked. But it's so expensive and like probably low B because
I think low B is like fair.
Yeah, if it was modernized though to cost like 3,000 like it should today, oh god, the Aurelia players, man.
Yeah.
It's over. Even like you're right, like you can go this on Vayne and just like be a tanky.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Carry.
Yeah, no, that would work really well on Vayne actually. Yeah, that'd be insane. Yeah. Next is Malady, which was an attack speed AP item. It gave 25 AP, 45% attack speed. Basic attacks deal 15 damage, bonus magic damage with an AP ratio on it. And its unique passive is basic attacks reduce the target's magic resist by 4 for 8 seconds, stacks up to 7 times for a total of minus 28 magic resist. So it's like a Kog'Maw item is like the reality because it's AP attack speed. Had MR Shred on it. It's a very niche item. Like, how many AP attack speed characters are there in the game?
There's not a lot.
I mean, Kale,
yeah.
Well, so
Emo, Kog'Maw.
There's not a lot of them, but the ones who can use it, it's I think obscenely good on. Malady was cheap. Malady was like 1,800 only.
Yeah.
I believe.
Like,
I think it was
in its final version. It was 2,035. So like it's still a very cheap item.
Yeah,
2,035.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, I honestly think that this would be S tier today.
Really?
Yes. I think it would because I think Diana jungle is beyond fucked right now, and having this first item on Diana, like her clear speed's already giga busted. It's even faster.
Can you say the stats again?
It's 25 AP, 45% attack speed.
I don't think it's S tier.
I don't think it's S tier.
25 AP is. I don't even know if it's A.
I think it's A. I think for it to be like higher though, it needs to like flip the stats more. It needs to be less attack speed, more AP. Like I think there's a lot of characters that
I
want
agree.
AP but don't want 45% attack speed.
Yeah, if it were flipped, I would give it a higher rating. I just thought like, and it's only 28 MR. I don't think that's actually like that much. Like when you think about it,
it's not that much because you have to hit them 7 times to do that.
Yeah, and then you have to hit them 7 times, to stack it up.
I guess.
I will say the only thing like that is kind of, I would rate it a lot lower if it was more expensive than 2,035 gold.
Yeah.
The fact that it is that cheap, I would probably leave it at like very high A, maybe low S.
Yeah.
But like as for the stats and the effect itself, I personally just don't think that's better than like Nashor's, for instance.
Yeah, I think it does get overshadowed by Nashor's, like without a doubt. I personally would be fine with putting it high A, but
you can do them both is one thing, and like again, there's not a lot of characters, but like I think Kale's an example, but I also think like AP Twitch mid. Yeah. Right, like you come online so fast with this.
Or you add it as your third item for Kog'Maw, and you still have 3 items on Kog'Maw before like someone gets there first because they're all cheap.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think 25 AP and 45 attack speed is like coming online though. You know.
But it had the on hit damage was.
Yeah, it's 15 on hit damage plus 10%.
15.
Yeah, 10% AP as well for.
All right. I mean, I'm fine if we want to put it in like the middle or top of A. I'm okay to now put it in S.
Yeah,
but Atma's, but
yeah.
Cool. Next is Homewrecker, good old fucking Homewrecker. Cooldown reduction, health regen, armor. Its effect though was you nearby enemy turrets are prevented from attacking for 3 seconds. This effect cannot be applied to the same tower for 8 seconds. So you just like would choose a tower and you make it stop auto attacking for 3. It's like Volabarrel was kind of the idea.
I think this item sucks.
It's fucking awful.
So the big thing was like the active, absolutely insane, absolutely crazy good. Like, you know, use it on for turret dives. It makes them so much better. I think if I'm remembering correctly that the stats were absolute dog shit trash.
They're not like super bad. Like, so cost efficient, gold efficiency wise, they were like 90%, which isn't like the worst.
They were just bad stats, right? Like,
but you don't want cooldown reduction. You don't want health regen. Like, it's health and armor, I guess, is not awful, but it's fucking 2,700 gold for health and armor at that point.
It's really inefficient, and like, legitimately, it's just not good enough at what it's supposed to do to be worth it. Where, right, like, okay, great, it enables your tower dive. Want to know what else does that? Zonia's Hourglass, and it's a way better item. Want to know what else does that? Like Guardian Angel, or picking any character who can drop aggro, or any character with like a dash. Like, it had such a fringe use case of let's turn off the tower, where in reality, like, there's so many ways that you can just tank the tower and not have to waste 2,700 gold on a shit item. I'd say low C, if not F.
I think we're gonna put this in the first F.
I think it's got to go F because I don't know if anything else is gonna go there, and we need to have something down there.
Yeah. Next is Rod of Ages, the stacking AP health item. So it gave you 60 AP, 300 health, 300 mana, and it gains 20 health, 10 mana, and 4 AP every minute for 10 minutes, up to a maximum of 200 health, 100 mana, and 40 AP. So it'd be at the end of the day, it would be a 100 AP, 500 health, and 400 mana item. And then its passive was that. So its original passive was when you level, you'd get mana and health back. Which at one point was literally you just instantly get it and it would be used as like a bait item, but then it was changed to overtime. And then after that, it was changed to kind of like what old Innervating Lockets was, where you would get mana back from taking damage and you get health back from spending mana, but it was like a really tiny amount. It was like a nerf version of Iterating Locket. I never really thought that was that OP, at least, but
no, it wasn't great. It was just like a little bit of bonus sustain for you. I'd say probably middle B. It's scaling up slowly is not good right now in like the game. And there are, I think, a lot of other mage items that give you AP and health and a much better passive. The only thing I think it has going for it, honestly, is like Rise and Singe builds with Fimbulwinter. It would be fucked.
Yeah, the fact that they get to stack it. I think the actual biggest issue with this, in my opinion, is you have to build it first.
Yeah.
But the prevalence of mythic items, and specifically mage mythic items, being as strong as they are, like, it really, really punishes you if you don't go like those items first.
You get your Rod of Ages and they have fucking Ludens.
Exactly. Or God forbid that they're like a combo mage and actually make good use of Everfrost. You know, you have Rod of Ages really that isn't stacked yet.
That's also really smart.
I think if the meta were a little bit slower and mythic items weren't introduced, it would be a lot higher than like C or B.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting it at like 15 minutes, then it doesn't stack till 25. Like,
exactly.
It's pretty rough. But
I mean, best case scenario, even if you get it at 10 minutes, you know, you still have to wait till for 20 minutes, to where I think we can all say like most games are probably decided, if not over, by 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Solo queue at least. But I think it's better than Wrecker.
No, without a doubt. Yeah. I think like putting it B is like maybe like mid B is probably fine. I think, like, honestly, it's like not awful.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Cool. Next is Ruby Sightstone. I threw this one as like a wild card. So what if you could buy a warding item nowadays? So Ruby Sightstone was just you'd buy a Sightstone item and then it would get wards for you and you'd place wards. And also it reduced ability item cooldowns. So active ability item cooldowns or whatever. So the idea would be, what if nowadays for like 2,000 gold a support could buy, I guess like we already kind of have that. I don't know.
Yeah.
With Vigilant Wardstone, yeah.
How about we just look at this as like this is a new support item in the game, and instead of having like whatever all these other effects, this one all it does is decrease like item cooldowns by 20% because that's what it did. So. Like, would there be
the only redeeming factor is that you'd be able to take this plus Igneous Hunter?
Oh yeah, true. Yeah.
So if those stack, then I think it's much better than a lot of the support items are right now. But if they don't stack, I think it's pretty bad.
In my head, I definitely kind of forgot that we had fucking ward items already. I thought for some reason.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We can just say it's like middle of the pack somewhere. Like, I think it's fine.
I think it's pretty bad. Like, because I guess the only thing is if you can buy it on Lee Sin, then it's a good item.
True, yeah.
Like that's the only reason I think that this item could have a chance today, is if you could buy it efficiently on Lee Sin.
Are there any other characters that purchase it? Like,
no.
I mean, maybe
I don't think supports take it over the
right, yeah. Like if supports have to drop their other warding item to get this instead, no way.
Yeah.
If they can get them both, maybe. If they can just be like, I still have my ward limit of 3, but I can carry 8 wards with me.
Yeah. Yeah,
like,
I think it's
that
probably
could
just
be
safe.
Interesting.
Throwing in C tier.
Yeah.
Cool. Next is a fucking awful item. This might be another Soul Shroud. So this is
S plus.
Its stats are 520 health. And its effect is it does an aura, so nearby champions gain 10% cooldown reduction and 12 mana regen.
How much was this item?
2,300 gold.
Yeah, this item sucks. I was gonna say the only redeeming factor is it counts as a legendary for in terms of mythics, but that's about the same as a regular support mythic item.
I mean,
I don't think the stats are good enough.
This item was bad back then, and the games were slower, so you could have a support build this, and then by being near people, they were giving them mana regen, and that was the idea.
Yeah.
But nowadays, no one has mana issues. This is way too expensive. It gives 0 stats. Cooldown reduction is a fucking easy to get stat. Like, I don't think this has any place in the game.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think F as well.
Yeah. Cool. Next is Spear of Shojin. Recently removed 65 AD, 10% cooldown reduction, 200 health. Reduces damage from... that's the version that got put back into Nexus Blitz. Let me try to find the actual one.
Oh.
It's only showing me the Nexus
So
Blitz.
I think the most recent version we had was that after you cast your ultimate for like 8 seconds, your auto attacks will reduce the cooldown of your basic abilities by like 25% or 20%.
Yeah.
Which was obscenely good and defined a couple months worth of meta. I think it would settle nicely after the Gunblade in S plus.
It's really good. I don't know if I want to put S plus it, but it might be like top of S. Like, it's like not like Gunblade. I think you can build on so many of the fucking characters. Deathfire Grass is built on every single mage. This I think is built on most bruisers, but like not every bruiser. I think.
No, but I think again the ones that it is really good on, it's game breaking. It's game breaking, right? And I also think that like the world in which I have Spear of Shojin, I've got Ultimate Hunter and I have Axiom Arc. Like my ultimate is on a 20-second cooldown, which means that all of my abilities are on a 1-second cooldown, and it just like compounds so ridiculously.
Yeah. That's pretty
like
fair.
Right, like this plus Axiom Arc plus Duskblade. Ugh.
Yeah, for sure. I think it makes sense. Cool. So next is Spellbinder, which is in the game for a very short amount of time. So it gave 120 AP and 10% movement speed. So when you when you or an allied character used a spell within 2,000 range of you, so a pretty big area, you get a stack. And you could then activate this item to get 0 to 80 based on the number of stacks you have, ability power, and 0 to 50 percent movement speed for 4 seconds. So you'd stack it up by just being in team fights and shit like that, and then you'd use it, get a lot of ability power and a lot of movement speed for a short duration.
How much does it cost again? Like 32?
It was 2,900 gold. It was very expensive.
29.
Yeah.
2,900 for a mage item. Yeah, I'll say this is like really solidly A.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this was a really good item. 100 spellcasts kind of sucks. Yeah. I think that's the only reason it's that low.
Mm-hmm.
I would maybe put it high A. I think one of the biggest things it has going for it is just like 120 flat AP, 10% flat movement speed.
Yeah.
It's really good. And like obviously most games you're not going a 6 item AP mage build, but like having the opportunity to go this plus like Lich Bane and another movement speed AP item. I'm forgetting what the new one is called. Cosmic Drive, if that's what it's still called.
Mm-hmm.
But like being able to have that is nutty.
Yeah, that's true.
I also think like that plus whatever the one that gives movement speed now is, the AP mythic with like movement speed and health or damage reduction.
Mm-hmm.
Crown of the Shattered Queen.
Yeah.
Like you just like go crown into this item and you can play like a control mage with 300 AP plus 15% movement speed and like a million range.
Yeah.
I still don't think it's like game breaking, but I think it would have a place.
I think A.
Yeah, not higher than A.
Yeah.
I think it's fair. Cool. Next we have Sword of the Divine, which is my favorite cheese item in the entire game. So this item was pretty expensive at 2,500 gold, but it gave 25 attack damage, 25% attack speed. So really, really shit stats, awful stats. But it also gave lethality in its final form, from like 18 lethality.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
But its active was you activated it and you gained 100% attack speed and 100% critical strike for the next 3 attacks in 3 seconds.
And your attacks can't miss.
Yeah, and they couldn't. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because there's dodge in the game at that point.
Yeah.
But like, so this item was my favorite cheese build because I'd played Mundo and then first item this because Mundo had a 180 steroid. So you'd have hit level 9 on Mundo, have 180 steroid and build this item, and then you'd immediately crit them like 3 times for like 300-ish a piece, if not more. It was sick.
If I'm not mistaken, this was also your favorite item to go on Renekton.
Yeah, you could triple proc it on his W.
Mm-hmm. I think this is actually like really, really good for lethality characters. I'm just imagining like a Prowler's Claw into Sword of the Divine combo, and that being extremely hard to deal with.
I love this item for the game, by the way. It's
yeah.
So by the way, just gold efficiency wise, it's 60% gold efficient stat wise.
Wow.
But when it's active for those 3 seconds or 3 hits, it's 330% gold.
Holy
efficient.
shit! Dude, that's exactly what like an active item should be.
Yeah, it's fucking sick, dude. You have to play around like that, like it's an ability. Like.
I like it. I don't think it's like game breaking. I think it's really, really strong. So I'll say A.
Yeah, somewhere like in the middle, but like
I'm thinking like middle low A. I like it in theory. I just don't know of a lot of characters that would really utilize that attack speed and crit.
It's like Rengar. It's like Rengar cheese item, like that type of shit. Like,
yeah.
I would just love to see it in the game because it's like obviously not good enough to be like in every game, but like you could do some fun shit with it. So
yeah, it's one of those that I did like it though, being like a kind of niche and full send for the active item, which we don't get as much anymore. Where it's like all of the active items for the most part are like good on their own without the active.
Yeah.
Whereas this one was just like, it's again really, really good when you're using the active. And otherwise, it's a 2,500 gold sink.
Yeah. Cool.
But like the fucking Yomu's into fucking Sword of the Divine Twitch build.
Yeah.
Can you remind me what the cost of the item was?
2,500.
And what was the cooldown?
Fuck. Let me just pull it back up really quick. I think it's 90 seconds.
sorry.
But yeah, it's 90 seconds.
Okay, 90 seconds. Yeah, that's a bit long. I was thinking if it were like 45 or a minute, it'd be like really, really gigabusted.
Yeah,
But
if it's you'd use it every
Added
rotation.
a thing where like if you got a kill with it, it dropped to 45.
But like, so like
Ooh. I
think
the
that was
issue
a
with
thing
it
at
being
one point.
low is an AD carry just buys this item, and their first 3 auto attacks in every fight just fucking nuke someone. Like,
Yeah. And this in combination with Kraken,
oh my god.
so you get that extra little burst at the end.
Yeah, also like the opportunity for some AD carries to not have to buy any crit. Like I'm imagining like
Oh,
an
yeah.
Eclipse Lethality Draven build, but he's just got this.
Jesus.
I'm thinking
yeah.
of fucking Tristana builds where you jump in, throw your bomb on them, instantly proc it with getting 3 crits.
Oh yeah, Halo.
wait.
Halo Blade Sword
my
of the
God.
Divine.
Did it increase your attack? Yeah, I was gonna say, did it
Yeah.
increase your attack speed?
100%.
Plus 100.
Yeah.
100%.
So wow, Hail of Blades with this would be absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, like Halo Blades or press the attack. Either way, you could really.
Or just-
no, it has to be PTA, right?
Or lethal tempo because you stack it instantly.
Yeah. Oh.
There-
Okay, I'm
there'd
starting
be
to
a
come
lot.
around.
Dude, okay,
I think
are we
maybe
putting
we
this
put it
S
up to
tier,
high A
like as a
then.
gimmick thing.
Hey, yeah, let's put it as fuck it.
Oh,
Yeah, who
actually,
cares?
Dude, the theory crafting is crazy.
Our
for that.
show.
But anyways,
Yeah.
Wow.
that's fun. Next is Twin Shadows. 70 AP, 10% cooldown reduction, 7% movement speed. It summoned 2 spectral ghouls, which would go find people, seek out the nearest enemy characters for 6 seconds, and then reveal them and slow them for 40%. This item at one point was also on the support thing, but I kind of hated that because it was always in the game. I like this as like an item that you could choose to build to have like this cool effect.
Yeah, I don't hate the item. I actually really enjoyed building it when it was good with Glacial. I thought it was really good then.
Yeah.
But I think it's just adequate. I would say B.
It's really gold inefficient for a mage item. It was 80%, 86% gold efficient,
Yeah.
which is like really bad. That being said, it like definitely kind of tended to be like more utility. So like you build on like a TF or something.
Yeah, I think that overall not great, but I think that like there are some users that would make really, really good use of it. I think like the biggest use case right now is Vigar,
True.
where like Predator Vigar with this as well, and his cage, and the lockdown from fucking whatever the item is called. that
Yeah.
is mythic.
Not glacial. Evershot. No,
Everfrost.
Everfrost,
yeah.
yeah, Vigar being able to go Everfrost like Twin Shadow Predator boots, it would like disgusting. And so like I think for Vigar it's probably S, and for like everyone else it's like low A to B.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think low A to B is probably fine. We'll go high B for fun.
Yeah.
Next is Will the Ancients, Woda. This is a name that probably most people don't recognize. So it gave 80 AP, 10% cooldown reduction, and its passive was it gave nearby champions 30 AP and 15% spell vamp.
And if I'm remembering correctly, you benefited from your own aura.
Yes, so you get it'd be a 110 AP item, and it would give you 15% spell vamp. And if an ally of yours had this, you'd double dip, so you'd get the double spell vamp.
You could get your own instance of it and your ally's instance. This item today, what's the cost on it? Is it like
2,300.
S tier.
S triple plus.
S plus tier. I don't.
It's higher than Death. It's the best item in the game.
I don't
that
think it's higher
cost
than
it
Death
is.
Fire Grasp.
I think it is.
personally.
I think it is.
I think if it was like if they actually put it in the game though, like they would make it probably 2,800, and I think it like becomes probably like more like here-ish in my opinion.
Yeah,
but like
if they did that,
yeah,
but taking the item as it
Actually-
was in today's game,
Yeah.
I think
If
it's so
23. 20. Sorry. 2300
sorry,
gold for that.
I was wrong about the cost. So like I looked at the 80 AP was after they made it so you couldn't get your own. So at that time when you could get your
okay.
own, it was 50 AP. So
okay.
it was 50 AP
I
plus
still,
30, so it'd be 80 total.
I still think that it's. I think it's S plus above Deathfire Grasp in my opinion.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, I think
I
spell
don't
vamp
think
is
it's above
gross.
Deathfire. Yeah.
They removed
So
spell vamp for a reason. Like
They removed Spellvamp for a reason, and also Yumi didn't exist when this item did.
true.
And so here, that's my biggest issue with it, is that Yuumi buys this item too with any AP character bot. Like, imagine Yuumi Cassio bot lane, and Cassio just gets a free, like, 200 AP from Yuumi, 20% spell vamp, infinite healing, movement speed. Like, I think it's so
I guess,
broken.
but that's one character, and I don't think like we've been looking at this through the lens of like a single character.
That is fair. I think this is like has the highest highs out of all the items we looked at. That being said, I think it has way less use cases than Deathfire or Gunblade, I guess.
Yeah. But I think it's less versatile for sure, but I think it's way more fucked with potential. But I'm fine to lower it. I guess.
It is fucking crazy.
I mean, it's still,
though.
I would say it's still S plus.
Yeah,
I just don't
without a
think it's
doubt.
the best in the game. You know.
I think it's fair. Yeah, spell vamp was removed for a reason, guys. You don't want it back. Next is Zeke's. We're gonna do the most recent version of Zeke's because I think the old version's pretty lame. When it was called Stark's Fervor.
Oh yeah, that sucks.
Zeke's gave. I mean, this is bad too. Don't get me wrong. Zeke's was a kind of an 80 carry item. It gave 20% cooldown reduction and 250 health. And you're like, why was it an 80 carry item? Well, because it had a unique aura which gave allied characters, including yourself, 20 attack damage and 10% lifesteal.
20% lifesteal, huh?
10% lifesteal, 20 attack damage.
Yeah, it's not a good 80 carry item, but I do think with Senna in the game, it's good.
Senna could build it, yeah.
Yeah, like a Senna support could build this, and then your 80 carry doesn't have to go lifesteal or just gets bonus for free. Otherwise, like some AD supportive utility junglers, like Jarvan could build it. You could maybe get it on Lee Sin. I don't think it's great today, especially because anyone who needs lifesteal and doesn't want to build it can just take Legends Bloodline or like Ravenous Hunter if you're Vayne. So probably low B.
Yeah, I'd say like
it was
bottom B is like fine.
Yeah,
It's like,
very bottom of B.
if it was modernized, I think it could be a really cool like support item. It's just like, man, they tried to make auras work so hard in old League of Legends. Like your support was literally just a like
an aura bot,
it was like an MMO support, like actually. So it just was a super relic of the past. Next is Zephyr. This is back when they tried to add a bunch of tenacity reduction items. So Zephyr gave 50 AD, 40% attack speed, 10% movement speed, and its effect was reduces the duration of crowd control effects by 35%. So this was only built when your AD carry hit 6 items, and they would sell their boots for this because it gave 10% movement speed. So it'd be kind of like a half AD item at the end.
It's really tough because any character you want tenacity on, you also like don't want to be building like damage like this. I think like if you're building damage and you want a little bit of tenacity, you're better off going like full damage or like resistances, I think, or your flat health, something like that, than you are building tenacity itself.
This is weird because again, I think like as a boots replacement, it's super good. And that's all it's good for. Like, I don't think you get this instead of just about anything else.
Yeah.
But, like, having this as the option to replace your boots, as opposed to, at this point, like, oh, I guess I could build, like, a Phantom Dancer at the end and get, like, movement speed, attack speed, crit, whereas this was 80 attack speed and tenacity. And obviously the movement speed. So, right, like, this could be really good on, like, Aurelia or Tryndamere or like any kind of top lane bruiser who's now selling their boots to deal more damage. But again, it's like as a 6th item, it being good does not make it good because you don't get to 6 items. The only thing I guess other than that I could give to it is like I guess you could get like pretty ridiculous tenacity with this plus Merc Treads plus Legends tenacity plus unflinching. But even then, I don't know if I put it higher than like low A.
I wasn't even gonna put it close there. I was gonna put it like low B at best.
I think like low B kind of towards C.
Yeah, I think it's fair.
I'm fine with that.
Next is ZZ Rot. So ZZ Rot was kind of like I think the better version of like split pushing. So CZ was a 55 armor, 55 magic resist item, where you would just put down a void gate, and for 2 minutes, every 4 seconds, it would create a little void spawn, and that would run down the lane, pushing it and then hitting structures. And then every fourth one would be based on your amount of health, so it'd be like a stronger version of it. But then you could, like, the enemy could come up to your void gate and kill it before the 2 minute timer went out, and like just put it on cooldown. So I think I actually like this item a lot more than like a hull breaker type thing, where there's like counterplay to like, hey, they put this here, they can defend this thing, but like you can go kill it. So
yeah, right, like they have to actively not deal with it for it to be a problem.
Yeah, it was bad, don't get me wrong, it wasn't a good item, but
yeah.
Probably C.
I think yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just so hard. Like, it was such a fun like meme item, but it gave you armor and MR, and then
0
that was
health,
really
yeah.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it was fun. Like, don't get me wrong, 5 ZZ Rots was like one of the most fun like sort of like meme builds that you could go. But I mean, it was basically never ever used ever, I think.
Yeah. Cool. Do we want to talk about our next S or S plus tier item? So this is Zonia's Ring. This item it's what Zonia's hat came out of. So Zonia's Ring was a 120 AP item. That's the only stat it gave. And its passive was the what's it called? Hat's passive. So it gave plus 25% AP, and then its passive was the Zonia's Hourglass passive. Both those items were one single item at one point.
Yep.
So you'd have the stasis from Zonia's and the AP like increase from Hat in one item.
So remember when we said that Deathfire Grass was the best item in the game? Well, actually,
Yep.
Is Deathfire Grass better than this?
No.
I don't think so. I think the fact that you get to build an offensive Zonia's, like, that's it. Like, it's over, you know?
I guess, yeah, the way
Also,
you're never not building this item.
Yes.
No, yeah. You never don't build this item. You probably always build the second item.
Mm-hmm.
And again, if we're being super liberal with like the way we're approaching it, which I think we kind of have been, where this exists in Modern League, I can buy this and my death cap.
Yeah.
Like,
I think we should assume that they should have similar passives.
Yeah, like they'd be
okay.
You could buy Hat, or you could buy Zonia's, or you could buy this sort of thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, even then, I think it's still
it's
top of
fucking
S
gross.
plus.
Yeah, I mean, it's still S plus tier. It's just like, okay, we don't need to make an S plus plus, I guess.
Do we want to talk about this is kind of a weird one to talk about, because there for a while in the game there was boot enchantment. So you buy your boots and then you could enchant them for 500 gold. The enchantments were Alacrity, which is what I always call Berserker's Graves, and people are like, why the fuck are you calling those boots Berserkers or Alacrity boots? So those gave 20 movement speed, which is crazy. Distortion gave reduced cooldown on Flash, Ghost, and TP. Furor gave increased movement speed after you auto attack something, and then Captain, which is the only one I think that could actually like be here in actual modern day League of Legends, which gave allies nearing around you plus 10% movement speed. Do you think there is room for a support to buy an upgrade, or someone on a team to buy an upgrade? I'm assuming support to increase movement speed of allies near them.
Well, I think that like it's more of a question than that, because like they've repurposed all of the boot enchantments into other items or just into the game period, where like Home Guard just exists now. You don't purchase that boot enchantment.
Yeah.
Like again, the just having more flat movement speed on your boots. Obviously, like you can't do that anymore. But there's just like the option to have magic boots or take like celerity.
Lucidity reduces cooldowns of summoner spells anyway, so that's kind of like distortion, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Like you can just take like lucidity. I did really like boot enchantments because I don't like selling boots. Like in theory, I don't like selling boots for a 6th item.
Yeah.
Now I'll do it because I obviously love having like 6 full items, but I would prefer that you had an option with boots that
you tape a sword onto it or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's weird. I think it's like a hard one to like even kind of quantify, but I just thought it was interesting that I kind of forgot boot enchantments existed. I really love the idea. I think at best, like, I mean, they were good because you would just get them when you were able to have like 500 gold or whatever. So like in that theory, yeah, it's like an A tier thing. Otherwise, they weren't that impactful. Like you could just not buy enchantments and it'd probably be fine. So we could just split the difference and go in the middle probably, I think.
Yeah, and again, I think like if it's captain, then it's probably pretty
Captain's
low.
the
But
best,
like
yeah.
if it's other ones, I don't know. I feel like, especially like with Jin right now, if you just like through Rush Boots 3, get Alacrity, and you're running Celerity, nothing ever hits you.
Yeah, I always looked at Captain as being the best out of them, but I guess they're all pretty fucking good. Like I wonder what their pick rate was between the 4 of them or the 5 of them.
I feel like Distortion was one of the higher.
Yeah, I mean that's why Lucidity's broken as well. Just reducing summoner spells is fucking OP. So
yeah, having Flash Up is...
for sure. Next is Static Shiv, our second last item. Static Shiv was a 40% attack speed, 25% crit, 7% movement speed item that when you move around and auto attack, you generate stacks. When you get to 100, your next auto attack does bonus magic damage and bounces up to 7 targets for the magic damage, not your actual auto. But
I think it's pretty bad.
I think it's awful. Yeah, I think it's like not good at all. It was like kind of like supposed to be like you choose this between this rapid fire and Renons as like a where do you want to attack?
A zeal item.
Yeah, zeal item. And this was supposed to be the wave clear option. Kind of shit.
Yeah. But like, yeah, you just go Renons and it's just better.
Yeah, especially with the reworked Renons that actually like gives a little bit of attack damage as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think this is probably C.
It was one of my favorite like passive effects in the game because I think it's like it's just really fun to see, you know, lightning every once in a while. But do I think it's good? No, I don't.
Cool. Last but not least is Elixir of Fortitude. So everyone knows there's elixirs in League of Legends, current day elixirs. Old elixirs were really strong. They were even stronger than current day elixirs. But the strongest of them all was Elixir of Fortitude. It on use gave 15 attack damage and 120 to 240 health for 3 minutes. And it restored that health on use. So the reason why this item was so gross was you'd start this item because it was 350 gold rather than elixirs nowadays, which are 500, and you could fight someone, and then when you get low, you could pop it to instantly gain 120 health, or like depending on what level, and get all the stats.
Yeah, so this was really big when I think Doran's items weren't extremely strong. I think this was like around the boots. Literally every single person in the game started boots level 1. In Modern League, I feel like players nowadays are a lot smarter than
die to a
they used to be.
But like, would it be viable for someone to start a item like this that gives you way more stats at the beginning of lane, but it's only for 3 minutes? You know what I mean?
I don't think so.
So for 350 gold, I don't know, man. I think it would still see use in a very similar situation. Like, as much as I want to give League players more credit that they wouldn't fall for, like, the fort pot bait, I think that they absolutely would.
That's true. People still don't check summoner spells.
Yeah, they don't check summoner spells, and just, like, I'm just thinking of, like, you know, like, Illaoi, right? Where it's, like, they gank the Illaoi and she just gets a double kill. I also think with like a price point as low as 350, it's so easy. I don't think it's a first purchase, but I do see it as something where it's like, okay, instead of grabbing a longsword, or like I just finished my mythic, I've got 500 gold, I can get a ruby crystal, or I can grab this fort pot and just hold it in case there's like one important fight.
I suppose so. There's times where like you get forced to back at like 350 gold or whatever, like top lane. You TP really back, weird. You buy fort pot, and then you use that as a way to like push, like get back the lane for 3 minutes.
Yeah, and like again, for 3 minutes you get that dominance, so it's like you get 1 kill, it's paid for itself. You get 2 tower plates, it's paid for itself. You get like 1 tower plate and deny a wave, it's paid for itself. I think that there's a lot of use, and being able to access it that early is pretty strong. Again, I don't think we'd see it as like start with fort pot plus 2 health potions, but I think we could see it as I'm gonna get this in lieu of a component to secure a plate or a herald or a 2v2 win. I'd say probably A.
Yeah,
I think it'd be really strong.
I guess I'm always hesitant for like consumable with no permanent stats. Like,
yeah.
and it costs 350. So yeah, you have to get a kill to pay for it. You know, you have to get 2 turret plates.
So not necessarily, I guess, is the way I'm looking at it, though, Nick. As long as you're like, if you're gonna get fisted in lane, right? Like you die to a set or something like that, right? And this buying the item and using it can make you not like die and not like have to give up CS for the next like however long. Like that's another way of looking at it, right?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah, I think that it would have a lot of use cases, and again, at 350 for a 3-minute duration, I think it's got a pretty good chance, especially again because like you can just hold on to it, and there's I think so many times early game where you're just holding components anyway, and sometimes just are like, well, I don't have anything that I really need to, but I've got like 400 gold, so I guess I'll grab a dagger or a longsword or a ruby crystal. And it's just like, okay, cool. Well, I could have this in my inventory and never have to use it until late game, but you know, a dragon fight just started. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, for sure.
I suppose, yeah, the versatility is pretty important. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's all the old items that were like interesting enough to talk about. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Hopefully you like learned a little bit about old League of Legends. Hopefully we didn't bore you too much. But I think that's a lot of fun. So next month, I think Colton's going to be doing a ZED Talks for us. So we'll have to see what's in store. Thank you guys all for listening.
Hey, you got a teaser for us, Colton?
I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, but I'm gonna make sure it's something that both of you hate and are in a lot of pain.
We have to all come up with like a little show tune.
I'll make you guys redesign League of Legends items into Dungeons and Dragons items, because you know how to balance Dungeons and Dragons items, right?
Oh yeah, that'll be really fun.
Yeah, I'm sure you and our listeners will love that.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll talk to you guys sometime soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.